Okay, for the last time, here are your sex-related adjectives for sex explicit and sex adjacent movies. First, pornographic. This just means that the movie is explicitly showing sex for the purposes of viewer titillation. There is craft to pornographic films, but no artistry. If there is artistry to the pornographic scene, then that movie might not be pornographic. It might be steamy or racy. Steamy and racy are two sides of the sex display coin, right? Racy is showing a lot to be provocative. Steamy is using characters' chemistry to make you feel a certain way. A steamy film might be fully clothed or totally nude, but steaminess describes the feeling we get from watching the characters get turned. So raciness describes how visually explicit it is, though caveat, racy can imply that the movie maybe pulls its punches a bit. So, for instance, the way Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth look at each other in Pride and Prejudice is steamy. Basic Instinct is racy. Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie in Don't Look Now is steamy and racy, which means it's erotic. Erotic is an artful, keyword, artful combination of racy and steamy. It is the pretentious twin sister of pornographic. Pornographic went to Florida for spring break. Erotic went to Europe and came back with a beret and an insistence that it's pronounced Ibiza. Like pornographic, erotic wants viewer titillation, but it will do it artfully, slowly, patiently, and with confidence and control. Pornographic is sex-centric, erotic is sexy. And sexy, then, is kind of a catch-all. Attractive people showing skin can be sexy, but so can someone fully dressed. Sexiness is about look, about confidence, about style. Sexy just means alluring, not necessarily titillating. It means attractive. People confuse sexy with explicit. It's not. Often it's the opposite, and I blame the 1980s. The decade is peak male gaze. It might not be the most feminine nudity in any decade of film history, but it's the most male gazy decade. The 1980s are the 13-year-old little brother of cinema history. So many, not just titties, and yes, I'm saying titties, not tits or breasts, because we're talking about the 1980s here. There's so much child there's so much childish looking sex and simple women characters, and somehow the sexiest thing a person can do in the 1980s is just pop out a boob. And everyone in the 1980s and everyone in 1980s film is so fucking horny. And that's the final word of these adjectives, horny. Horny just means that the film creator wants sex rather than the viewer. Horny movies can also be intentionally so, but mostly if we're talking about the 80s here, horny films like Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf are just immature. They confuse sexiness with nudity and sex. They're having fun with their horniness, but only because they lack the confidence and swagger of a truly mature and sexy being. And as my friend Cecil once told me, nothing sexier than someone who's good at their job. Hi, Cecil.
Hi, Jeffrey.
What's the sexiest job someone can have?
Ooh, well, I mean, any job can be made sexy, right?
Totally.
As witnessed by Halloween costume trends over the years.
Yes.
The
Um,
sexiest job, though. I mean, after watching The Bear, you got to say, like, watching anybody in sous chef
oh my
mode,
God.
so
Like,
sexy.
yeah, because it's the leadership under stress, under
Hmm.
pressure. It's also sweaty in a kitchen. It's hot.
Yeah,
People are
it's like
close to each other.
you've just been edging yourself for 12 hours, and you just got to get out of there and just have sex. Sure,
Yeah.
why not? There you go.
And I think there's also the trope of like, I think people who work in food service tend to be higher levels of smokers, right? And
Hmm.
so I think there's a similar thing of like you achieve the thing, you finally have your break, I need a
Yep.
cigarette, which is
Yep.
a classic trope of sex as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I was just trying to think like sight unseen, like if I were looking at dating profiles and somebody and they list their job, what would I be like? Ooh, I want to I want to meet this person. This sounds great. I don't think it's like accountant, right? Like that seems kind
Yeah.
of
Probably
dull.
not. No.
But yeah, food service I think is right up there. I mean, I kind of think like actor or musician, any type of like art
Oh,
field
sure.
feels like that
Yeah.
too.
I mean, musician is a hard one to topple.
Right. Yeah. Someone playing a guitar goes up like 2 stars in sexiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like my theory. Yeah. If you can play an instrument or sing well, yeah, plus 2 stars. If
Yeah.
you're wet while you're doing it, plus 3 stars.
And when I say guitar, I mean electric guitar
Oh yeah,
or
a keytar.
a guitar. Wow. We had our last week we rolled Werewolf as our scare and Wild Card as our style, meaning we could pick any werewolf movie ever made in the whole world.
In the whole wide world.
And so we did, and we picked Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf.
I'll let you audience members guess who chose this movie. I think you probably know.
There are people probably slapping their dashboards or banging their head on their desks thinking like, you could have done November or
We could
no,
have.
we could have done that.
Yeah.
What is that, Estonian or Lithuanian? I don't know what
Yeah.
black and white
Nah.
arty film.
Yeah,
No,
could have done that.
no, fuck you. We're gonna do Your Sister's a Werewolf.
Oh my
Which is
God, the title, Your Sister is a Werewolf, which they then have to say, have one of the characters explicitly say in the first 10 minutes of the movie, just to make sure you understand what's going on.
It's like the MST3K joke of, folks, we have a title.
I love it.
Yeah.
In my mind, there's a bell. There's a bell that always rings, like ding, 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 when they say the title.
Yep. And also, this movie has one of my favorite things that I've run across in doing this podcast that I've become very aware of, which is the great working actor,
Yes.
Christopher Lee,
Oh
because
my
Christopher
God.
Lee is doing this movie.
Yes.
He's doing the movie. He's in the movie. He's performing in the movie.
He's doing it.
Yeah, he's giving it, right? He's actually like providing his service to the best of his ability.
Yes. And the people he is in these scenes with are so like, are they receiving it, Jeffrey? I don't think they are.
You know, Cecil, acting is a solo endeavor. You just do your lines, somebody else does their lines.
Bullshit, bullshit, my line, bullshit, bullshit, my line, bullshit, 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 cue line, the end.
Uh-huh. Okay, so we start this movie with Christopher Lee, who plays what is he? He's a paranormal researcher.
Well, he's an occult investigator, as his business card said.
That's his title. That's his title.
I was like, damn, that is quite a power move in a business card. But Christopher Lee floating in space, reading the Book of Revelations.
I didn't look this up. Is this verbatim what's in the King James version or whatever?
Oh, it sounds pretty on the nose. It sounds pretty all right.
For it is written, the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk on her blood. And I saw her sit upon the hairy beast, and she held forth a golden chalice filled with the filthiness of her fornications.
Oh, no.
And upon her forehead was written, Behold, I am the great mother of harlots, and all the abomination on the earth. Okay.
Well, we're going to meet her later.
We are, and I'm excited to meet her. Listen, we have sometimes put on our die possibilities for style, we've put bitch and soundtrack.
Yes.
And that's a really tough one to look up. Like, you kind of have to know which movies, because on Google, people aren't, when you type in, I need something with a bitch and soundtrack or a great soundtrack, a lot of times they're looking at like the score of the film.
Yes.
So any type of like Bernard Herrmann score comes up, and I'm like,
John Carpenter.
Not bitchin'. Incredible.
I mean, can be bitchin'.
Can be, yeah.
But, mostly the respectable soundtrack or memorable soundtrack.
Yeah.
This movie, bitchin' soundtrack.
Yeah. What's his name? Badalamenti, who does
Angelo Badalamenti.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, not bitchin'.
But not bitchin'.
This movie is a bitchin' soundtrack.
Oh my God. 1980s punks doing their glam punk, like new romantics. She blinded me with science. That's all I could think of was she blinded me with science during this entire and this song gets played a lot.
Yeah, they are when you pay a lot of money for something, you want to get your use out of it. And they paid I've done the thing where I've rented a car and then I paid for the gas and then, the prepaid gas.
You're like, I'm going to drive this motherfucker around the block 200 times because I'm going to use it up.
And I realized that for my trip, I'm not even going to use a quarter tank. So I'm like, well, you know what? We're going to see this city. We're
Yeah.
gonna we're gonna drive the highway loop around town before
Mm-hmm.
we get back.
Yeah.
But yeah, they commissioned this song, Howling. I didn't even bother to I didn't look up the band. I don't even know.
Babel. The
Babel,
band is
thank you.
Babel. Which I think, I'm not sure if it's a real band, but it's like definitely the lead singer, kind of the person who wrote the score. Apparently
Mhm.
wrote a bunch of other stuff for this movie, and none of it was used. The song was the only thing that they used because they wanted to put more like normal soundtrack
Mhm.
score in. But we get a we get a bitchin' soundtrack here. We
We
sure
do.
do.
And we get this opening showing creepy art, skulls,
Yeah.
gargoyles, Goya paintings, right? Like of his era when he's showing Jupiter tearing off,
Yeah.
biting off the head of babies or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Werewolves, creepy priests on tapestries and shit
All
like
the
that.
gargoyles.
Yes. And well, I'm stood up and applaud this opening title card when it says Los Angeles, California, USA, City of Angels.
City of Angles.
Angles, City of Angles. I had to flash back. I was trying to remember how Howling 1 ended. We watched Howling for this show,
Yeah.
which was a Joe Dante joint, and also I forget who did the special effects, but Howling 1 had some incredible like
Oh yeah.
wolf mutation effects late in the film that were so good. And Howling 1 I remember also kind of opening in like a porn cinema in Los Angeles.
Right. It has kind of like a, like seven serial killer
Uh-huh.
vibe to it. I mean, which to me is like, okay, Howling is such a perfect quintessential 70s movie in
Mhm.
that it's really intense and very like evocative, gritty, on the edge of your seat, but you don't really see too terribly much. And they save their wad until the end.
Yes.
Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf is quintessential 80s movie, as
Yes.
your introduction said. It is so 13-year-old boys, let's make a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the I feel like 13-year-old boys, like, I think play with dolls, like, maybe not necessarily with tea sets, but, like, in their mind, they're like, "Ah, let me just get into something more comfortable here. Titties!" Like,
Yeah.
that's the, like, little tea time play set of their
Uh-huh.
sexual minds, and I think that's how the '80s views sex as
Absolutely.
well.
Well, it's because everybody was on cocaine, I think.
That's what it is,
Like
yeah.
it's the music, the like, we're gonna party, let's go party. I think it's all just coke.
Yeah.
Everybody's ramped up.
The '80s, I think, misunderstood kind of like the free love era. I think they sort of misunderstood the core values of that and just dove hard into what if we could all fuck all the time,
Yeah. Well, I
but we
think they
don't know what
understood
that
it and
is.
they just rejected it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so
Here
we
we are
have
in Los Angeles.
here in Los Angeles, we have the
Oh,
funeral for Karen.
yes.
Karen White, I think is her name.
Yes.
She was the protagonist from Howling 1. She died at the end of Howling
Yeah.
because she knew she was turning into a werewolf. She was a TV journalist, and she went on the air to sort of demonstrate werewolves are a
To be like,
thing
we are amongst you.
by turning into a werewolf and being shot to death.
Uh-huh.
So we've got now her funeral at this Catholic church. The priest is blaming anonymous violence characterizing our cities.
I know this priest is going hard.
It's going real
And
hard.
also, I'm like, why is there like a British like Church of England priest in Los Angeles? What is happening right now?
Don't know. I don't know. But, they when they as they're entombing her, we see her eyes open and I'm
Oh,
like, "Oh, no."
uh-oh. Well,
Uh,
don't
I
worry, because Stefan, a cult investigator, is on the scene. This movie has everything, Jeffrey.
I
Werewolf orgies,
I am gonna
giant sunglasses,
I
a
need to get
bat
business
that humps
cards.
your face to death.
I really do need to get business cards that say occult investigator. I think a business card that just says, like, diamond thief, I think is a
Yeah,
good
there you go.
business card. There's lots of great job titles we're not utilizing enough. Everybody update your LinkedIn's.
Yes.
So we're gonna meet Karen's brother, Ben,
Oh, Ben.
who is a sheriff in Montana.
Is he?
That's what
Is that what he
Jenny
says?
Jenny
Okay.
refers. She was or somebody says, I think when he meets Jenny, who is a former colleague,
Yes.
TV reporter in Los Angeles, who's also at the funeral. Jenny is researching, uh, well, she just gets into the storyline of who this
Yeah.
occult investigator is, what happened to Karen. But she does make a comment. I think it's her makes a comment to Ben of like, Ben, maybe you should head back to
To
your
Montana. I do
to your
remember Montana.
sheriff office in Montana.
I gotta say, Ben, this is like the dumbest human being on the face of the earth.
Boy, when we talk about last week Under the Shadow, like somebody who does not believe
Oh
in
yeah.
the reality of the occult happening. This has been through and through.
He is literally watching his sister revive from death as a werewolf. And he's like, nope, don't believe it.
Yeah. But then he does suddenly have a quick turn when he is
Very
fully
quick.
attacked by werewolves. He's
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm going to Transylvania with you. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Him and Jenny both. I was like, you all went from being innocent bystanders to going on a Eastern European road trip very quickly.
Yeah. Yes. Boy, and they trauma bonded fast
Yeah, they did.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they meet Stefan Krosko, who is trying to explain to Ben after the funeral. He's like, your sister's alive.
Uh-huh.
Call me. And Ben's like, why
Yeah.
don't you get the fuck out of here?
Christopher Lee. I mean, Christopher Lee is a gift
He's
for
so good.
real,
Uh-huh.
but his bedside manner is
Mm-mm.
terrible. Like, he's just like, your sister's immortal soul is in danger. I will say no more.
It's like the priest from The Omen. We're like,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
temper your approach. Just
Like,
ease
and
people in.
there's so much like, just take my word for it. I have no follow-up questions.
See my business card? I am a cult investigator. So,
There's also some witnesses to the funeral that
uh-huh.
stand on the periphery, including Mariana,
Oh,
who's a bad bitch.
she is a bad bitch. But Mariana, and I think the other guy's name is like Earl or something.
That's
Erla.
Earl. Oh my God. I love, okay, you get one character trait. And you're a werewolf,
Hmm.
and you have decided that your character trait is whenever you see something you don't like, you're gonna paw at the ground as if you just took a shit.
That's that's what I was thinking. I'm like, that dogs do that when they're covering up their scent.
Uh-huh. Yep.
He's thinking of like a bull. You know what I mean? Like
Or a
the trope.
cat. Oh,
No,
bull,
but
as in
he's
like to like get ready to run,
yeah, the
to
aggression
charge.
shown in like a toro, right? Like
Nope.
yeah, a
Nope.
bullfight.
I got 100%. No notes. 5 stars. He's like, I don't like this. Scratch, 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 scratch.
And
Like,
he and
I'm gonna
Mariana,
shit on her, this grave right here.
they also snarl as Christopher Lee walks by. They're all yeah.
Yes. I love it. They're like,
Oh my God. Um,
the fun has only just begun, Jeffrey.
I know that this movie is. I'm so glad this movie is fun because it's one of the most frustrating movies I've watched in terms of script because
Oh, it makes no sense at
it
all.
makes no sense, and also they leave behind some really cool things. Like I would really like to spend more time with Mariana, right? I would like
Sure.
to like really
Yeah.
build this character out. Like what is her MO? What is, what really makes her special other than the fact that she's immune to silver bullets, but
Oh my God. This
and then
movie, this movie, the mythology.
they don't do anything. Like Christopher Lee tells them like she's one of the immune werewolves, meaning silver bullets won't kill her. It has to be titanium. But then they don't really
Okay.
do anything with that. Later, they're just shooting werewolves and they're dying. I'm like, what bullets are you using?
Yeah. Does it matter?
Oh my God.
Apparently this movie, they literally were just like, well, we have this script for this vampire movie. Why don't we
Yes.
just slap Howling 2 on it and make them werewolves? And that's literally what they did.
Mm-hmm. So we cut to a rock and roll concert in Los Angeles starring Babbles. Ow,
Oh,
ow, ow, ow.
she blinded me with science.
And then this whole scene at this club, I know, is setting up Mariana picking up
It's like her
some
hunting
riffraff.
ground.
Yeah. But it also, really, the star of this is not Mariana. The star of
No.
this is Christopher Lee's sunglasses.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if someone who was like, I would say 45 to 55, somewhere in that age range, and like this man who is so respectable, wearing a red leather zip up shirt
Uh-huh.
and just walks into a club in Los Angeles and
Uh-huh.
somebody hands him those
Home.
like Geordi from like Star Trek The Next Generation
Yeah.
wraparound sunglasses. I mean, straight out of Weird Science.
Yeah. It's almost like Homestuck looking glass. It's ridiculous. Like
They're
they're.
just like, look cool. This man looks so uncomfortable. Like you can see him in his mind counting the cents on his paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's there. He's doing what he can with what he has where he is.
Bopping. He is
Yeah.
bopping.
But these guys show up who I think are European actors doing American accents. Their accents are wild.
Who knows?
But
All I
they
know is that one of them is called Moon Devil, which,
oh,
to be fair, I know you have notes about writing, but Jeffrey, I gotta say, you gotta throw those notes out because if you have a character named Moon Devil, then you have clearly written a masterpiece.
I I only caught the name Deacon of this group, which I think is a pretty great,
That's all right.
it's a
Solid name.
rock solid kind of thug guy name,
Yeah.
dirtbag name,
Uh-huh.
because it's ironic, Deacon.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm mad at them as a writer for me just now finding out that there's a Moon Devil in these
For
characters,
burying Moon Devil, I
and
know.
that's apparently only in the credits because I never heard any motherfucker call anybody Moon Devil.
I think he might once.
He
He might
does.
say,
Okay.
"Oh, when Moon Devil gets mad, he gets like crazy mad." Now, you probably don't remember this because somebody is literally throwing like styrofoam cinder blocks at these actors' heads from off the screen.
Yes, she lures these trash
Uh-huh.
bags to
Yep.
an abandoned factory that I think might actually be somewhere in Arizona because by the time they get there, it is morning. Like
Yeah.
it is a full daylight scene in
Yep.
that factory
They've been
that
they've
she
been
lures them to.
they've been 80s partying all night.
She, of course, the way she does this is not to just lure them out to a remote location and then kill them.
Yeah.
It's to lure them out to a remote location, strip naked,
Uh-huh.
and then have somebody else chuck styrofoam cinder blocks onto their heads.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't see that's the thing is like, and we get like the whole werewolf thing. Listen, we're gonna get to the werewolf orgy later.
That's one of my favorite
Just a
things.
preview of what's to come. But the werewolf is what is happening? It's just like shots of her with like some real questionable prosthetics and teeth going ah ah doing nothing at all, not even in the same room, just like in front of a black screen. We don't do we ever know who her associates are? I don't think we do. But we
No,
know that she is happy with the results because she goes, ah! And that's the end of that scene.
there's like a moment where like we see a severed hand, hit
Yes.
the floor.
Uh-huh.
We see a lot of just like biting into people's necks. Like a giant crate falls on a guy, but
Yep.
the special effects in this movie are so cheaply done, and I don't just mean that they look silly. I mean that we don't it's mostly just close up of like a latex hand puppet wolf going
hand,
"Rawr, rawr,
yeah,
rawr, 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 rawr,
or
rawr."
the eyes, just like some eyes with like yellow contacts, just looking back and forth.
Yeah.
Cut to the shot of a moon ascending or descending in the sky.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God, this movie, I think this movie is great.
I think it's pretty great. It's
No
really
notes.
no notes. Um all right. So she and her unseen colleagues devour all these fuckers. Uh so Jenny and Ben go to see Stefan at his haunted ass mansion.
I listen, the set pieces are amazing. She's just got like wolves and bones everywhere, which it is one of those things of like the line between good guy and bad guy is very thin, as we will learn, because Stefan has a bit of a relationship with Stirba,
He
bit of a
does.
past history that makes no sense at all.
Uh-uh.
Like time is a wibbly wobbly concept, and
So is plot.
so is plot. But
When
Christopher Lee's like, listen, werewolves, they are real. Your
uh,
sister is a werewolf.
watch this tape.
Watch. This is a VHS videotape. Uh-huh. Of your sister turning into okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. Now, here's the thing. Dee Wallace is amazing in the first film. She's like amazing. Very 70s, like kind of gritty, nuanced,
Mm-hmm.
kind of portray, very like inside the actor's studio kind of portrayal in a werewolf movie. This is not Dee Wallace.
No.
This is some other poor actress with like brown hair, staple gun to her face.
Yeah, the woman in the tomb in the
Yeah.
coffin
And
who
it's so what's I mean it's in the videotape. It's like it's
oh
so
yes.
bad.
Oh yes, the video oh my
The,
god.
the video is so bad that even Ben, the character Ben, is like, that doesn't look like my sister.
Yeah. This
That
tape
just looks like some crazy werewolf lady. I
this
don't see
tape
my sister at all.
this tape is so unconvincing because it absolutely looks like a woman with maybe a woman, I don't know. What is
Who
gender?
knows?
What are people with shitty werewolf makeup
Yeah.
stapled to their face
Like
and
you could like get the look at Home Depot.
this also is really funny the notion of a time and place when no one would have video of a thing that happened on network television.
I think they try to explain that away, saying that even though, like classic, it was live on the air and we literally see people watching it live on the air at the end of Howling.
Yeah.
This is like, oh yeah, no, 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 that was no, that wasn't, no, we
Uh-uh.
didn't, no, we cut the footage before it made it to the air. So this is the only VHS copy in the world.
Oh my god. Um yeah, it's bonkers. And also like there's so much like handy cam footage happening on this
Yeah,
videotape that
yeah.
I think that's not how news studios are set up. Nobody has a handy
No,
cam.
no. And
Okay.
oh my
Oh
God.
yeah.
And of course, and Jenny is actually kind of swayed. She's like, I don't know if it looks like a werewolf and it scratches at the ground like it's gonna poop like a werewolf. But Ben, literally the dumbest human being. This man is I looked up some of his film credits include like playing, I think, Captain America 2.
Okay. Great.
Like he is like 6.5 feet of American justice. But man, he is thick.
This is he makes a comment to Jenny as they're in the woods one time when he takes out his gun, his
Yeah.
6-shooter. She's like, "What are you doing?" And he says, "When the varmints start knocking off the chickens, the farmers start knocking off the varmints." And this movie is so much that's another 80s thing. It celebrates the solo hero with a gun, right? Like
Yeah.
the Rambo-ness of it, the
It's
first
the
blood.
red dawn of it all.
Yeah, that if we all had guns, then we could solve all of our problems as
Yep.
Americans because we are
Round up
historically
round up
always
the
being
horses.
invaded. Yes. Um, all right.
But
So
you know what? So Christopher Lee's like, you know what? Okay, here's the thing. So these werewolves, you might have seen this woman, Mariana. She's like a super werewolf. How? Why? Unknown. Unknown. How you get to achieve next level werewolfness? Unknown.
yeah,
But he's been hunting her for a while. He's like, I'm gonna go to your sister's grave. I'm gonna uncover before they bury her. I'm gonna stab her with this titanium knife, and that's the only way.
I
Ben
gotta
is
tell
not
you,
happy.
I gotta tell you, at this point in the movie, I'm very much on Ben's side. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, because that tape does not prove the existence of werewolves. So to Ben's credit, there's nothing yet that would have convinced me that we're in any real danger, that
Oh,
werewolves are real, that this
I'm
man
with you.
isn't crazy.
Yeah.
And also just the act of saying, hey, by the way, there's a video of your sister being murdered on live television that you have never seen. I'm gonna here, just watch it right
Do
now.
you
I'm
want to
like, no, no,
casually
no,
watch this? Yeah.
no, no, absolutely. I do not want to see death right now, especially my sister's.
Yep.
Okay, then
However,
yes,
later that night,
uh-huh,
it's not until Ben is like actively shooting werewolves in the forest that he's like,
yes.
nope, still no werewolves. Nope, don't believe you.
I okay, so we learn about Stirba in this at the spooky mansion of Christopher Lee, and we learn that it's the 10th anniversary of Stirba's birth on the next full
But
moon,
the
and that
10 millennium or
10
10,
millennia 10,000th anniversary, I don't know, whatever
but
it
then
is.
but then apparently in like this movie has so many like this movie is oh God bless it.
Mhm.
But apparently the translation in like a lot of the I think the Russian version, they misplaced millennia with million. So Stirba is actually 10 million years
Oh
old, which means
shit.
she's older than humans. And well,
Oh my god.
sure, why not?
9 9,950,000 years
Yep.
older than
Mm-hmm.
humanity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And but listen, here's what I love.
Mhm.
This is my thing, and this is why I think horror is amazing, is because horror has been like sort of in the bottom drawer of art for so
Yes.
long, because it is kind of schlocky. It's like two steps up from, or two steps down from comedy. Like
Yeah.
comedy gets a heart. We all love to laugh, we all love to be scared, but you're not winning Oscars by
Yeah.
doing this in general.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you kind of hit upon a good idea on like by accident.
Mhm.
And I think the nugget that would be like, can we get a reboot of Howling 2 Your Sister is a Werewolf? In the idea that, okay, on Stirba's birthday, we're going to throw a werewolf bash.
Yep.
And on that day, every werewolf in the world is going to turn into a werewolf to celebrate Stirba's birthday.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's actually kind of a good idea for a movie.
I think so.
Like National Werewolf Coming Out Day, International Werewolf Coming Out Day.
There's so many ideas in this movie that I think are worth pursuing. I think it starts with Karen's eyes opening up inside the tomb. Like, there's a horror device that I would love to see
Oh yeah,
explored of like what it means to like become
wake up
aware
to think you're dead and
yeah,
then wake up
in a
live
tomb.
again. Yeah,
Um, there is the notion that there's some kind of super werewolf immune to silver bullets.
right.
Like like how you discover that it's titanium would be interesting. And this notion that there is this like, yeah, this werewolf party on this very special super moon or whatever we're on that I think is also interesting. But this movie gets so sidetracked with titties and weird wolf
Yep.
sex.
Titties and werewolf sorcery.
I don't know what this is the ultimate how do werewolf work movie
It is.
because I still have not gotten a solid answer from any werewolf movie that
Yep.
we've watched that I fully understand the difference between a werewolf and a witch and a werewolf and a vampire. Like I understand it on the surface, right? I understand witch,
Yeah.
crone with pointy
Yeah.
hat,
Yeah.
cauldron, spell book.
Yeah.
Werewolf
And
is furry, dog-like,
yeah.
humanoid.
Full moon. Yeah. Full moon transformation.
I
And vampire undead, sucks blood, sucks energy.
but werewolf is kind of
Very
also
sexy.
undead, immortal, satanic.
Are they?
Well, I mean, but these
What?
movies are playing them as that, and
I mean, at one point, we literally have a character pull out some garlic just to be like, I don't know, just in case.
yes, it's
We're gonna stab him in the heart like a vampire. No, no,
no,
not like it. No, because this is not a wooden stake. It's a titanium stake that I got
yes,
at Salt Bay.
uh-huh.
It would cost $3,000. And then I love it. He pulls out the stake, and it's like the most like Xena warrior princess prop knife you've ever seen in your entire fucking life.
Yes. Yeah, it's so I think your theory is number one that this was a vampire script that wasn't
Yep.
going to be made, and then they
Yep.
thought, well, if we repackage it as a Howling sequel, because Howling had enough success that we think a
Yep.
sequel will sell. That's all they did. They just branded it with Howling, and then we were good to go.
And I've not gone into but this is based on a series of books that were
Yep.
apparently kind of popular, Stephen King airport read, kind of like, kind of as you were interested, kind of sexy, titillating, edgy
Yeah.
1970s kind of paperbacks.
Hmm.
Now, shocker, Howling 2 is the only book that went, oh yeah, know those books? Yeah, no, we're not gonna use any of that. None of it. None of it.
One of my favorite moments in this movie, like minor moments, is after meeting with Stefan. Jenny and Ben are driving back, and she says, "Do you want to come? Do you want to come in for a drink?" And classic line, classic movie trope. We're going to
Sure.
set up this romantic relationship
Yeah.
between the two, and like that's a big step to ask
Yeah.
somebody, "Would you like to come in for a drink?"
Would you like
And
to
what
see my etchings?
the the drink of choice is just a V8 on ice.
Oh my God.
I just, I,
I could have had a V8,
what is
and
this?
you
What are
did.
they drinking?
I don't know. The 80s were what? Well, like your choices are Tab,
Mhm.
V8, or Sanka. Those are the only
Saying
three choices you get.
Yep, yep, 100%. Oh my god. Okay, so now we
We're killing
are
werewolves. We're
yeah.
killing werewolves in a church.
Yeah, so it's later that night because from this scene of where they have V8s,
Uh-huh.
Ben gets really
But
upset
not
about
the sexy V8s,
no.
because he gets mad. He gets real American, like, I'm going to shoot that man who was threatening to stab my dead sister.
He's not sticking a stake in my dead sister, and he runs off. She's like, "Ben, wait." So it's rock and roll music at night, and Ben has brought his rifle, and we hear howling. Werewolves are coming. He is full on just shooting werewolves in the middle of a Los Angeles forest.
Yeah. Classically known for its forests around
Classically known
LA.
for yeah, it's isolated forestry in
Yes.
the city of town. Where are we in? Are we near La Brea? Like where are
Yeah.
we here?
What is
Uh, Alhambra probably is my
mhm,
guess.
mhm,
Alhambra,
mhm.
Whittier, something like that.
What, the canyon, Topanga Canyon somewhere?
Yeah, maybe up in Topanga Canyon. Sure, sure. So meanwhile, Stefan is praying over Karen's
Oh my
body.
God.
How did he get that body out of that concrete, that stone tomb? There is a reason why pallbearers is plural,
Yes.
because bodies and coffins are
They're
very
real
heavy.
heavy. They're
Yeah.
very heavy. I'm more like the amount of time that Christopher Lee spends praying in this movie. Like full on church service level prayers.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you spent more time stabby, and less time pray, you might have gotten the job done.
Yeah. He also sets up this idea, another unpursued thought in this movie is that werewolves cannot attack you in a consecrated place, right? Which is very
No.
vampire. But
Did
he
he say
sets that
that?
up. Yes, which
What?
is why it occurred to me that his spooky ass mansion that he lives in is probably a converted old church for
Okay.
protection. So this moment that he's in this church and we see Earl, the foot stomping
Yeah.
werewolf
Yeah.
in human form, kind of trolling about the church.
Earl the foot stomping werewolf. Jeffrey.
My favorite folk singer.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah, but
But
Earl
then
is
it, but
like, "Arr, arr," but doesn't really, his attacks are not effective?
he can't really. It shows him like circling Stefan in the church, but he can't really attack. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that makes sense. That ties to Christopher Lee's earlier line. But then at a certain point, when Ben and Karen show up, the werewolves are just fully attacking them in the cathedral.
Well, here's the thing. The werewolves can only attack the pretty girl.
Uh-huh.
So that way the two men can save her. I mean, that's
Yes.
exactly how this goes.
Okay. So that's the more
And
fleshed
Ben
out
is a
rule.
dead shot. Like this poor woman. There's a werewolf on the left of her. There's a werewolf on the right of her. She's been spun around, up and down, all over this goddamn church. And Ben is like such a crack shot. He's just shooting werewolves like right next to her head. I'm like, you're
Huh?
all right, Tex.
Yeah. Yeah. This
But
he does
but
not think at all
no,
about casualties in
this is a shoot first, ask questions later kind of operation.
Mm-mm.
But at least he's a pretty good shot.
At least I don't think I want to live in whatever town he's sheriff of.
Oh,
But for the sake of having to kill werewolves, I like him on my team, sure.
yeah, sure.
So yeah, it's this huge shootout with the werewolves, and he kills a bunch. Then they capture Earl, and they basically Stefan
Silver
interrogates him.
torture him.
Yeah, he's like, "Where
They
is Stirba? She's in the dark country."
no.
Oh,
No, it's like, where is Stirba? Like, too much. Just too much. Yes, he is in the dark country. She is in the dark country. The dark country? What the fuck?
What does that mean? Like, I've never heard that phrase to describe Transylvania, Romania, whatever. Okay, the dark country, sure.
Uh-huh. And of course, Stefan is like, I know where the dark country is.
And there's this idea too that the werewolf gets tied into Christianity so much in a lot of the films we've watched with werewolves, because the idea is that their soul is trapped by evil. And
Yeah.
so actually stabbing the werewolf or shooting the werewolf in the heart with 6 silver bullets, or they don't say 6 in this movie, but
Yeah.
whatever, silver bullet or this silver stake to Earl's heart will free his soul to otherwise there's some other option to kill the werewolf wherein his soul rots in for eternity. I don't know what the anyways. So Ben now is finally convinced he had to get into a full werewolf gunfight.
180. Complete
180.
180.
Stefan's like, I've got to go to the dark country. Ben's like, we're coming with you.
I think he literally says, I will follow you to the ends of the earth. And I was like, oh, for someone who's literally trying to kill a man like an hour earlier,
Yeah.
dust off your passports because we're
God.
going to Prague.
Yep.
Now, this is kind of interesting. So apparently this movie was shot clearly in 1984 in the Czech Republic.
Mhm.
And it was very much behind the Iron Curtain. And so all these punk rock scenes, like with She Blinded Me with Science, Howling band Babel, they actually had to stage a punk rock concert. And all the like latent punks that were living underneath Soviet rule were like, yes. So the government was watching them like full time when they were filming this movie.
Whoa.
And here's a couple of fun facts. So they had this punk rock concert, right? And the authorities were like, ah ha ha, you're doing what? You're making a werewolf movie, and they're trying to translate what werewolf means. And the government, like the police were like, this is dumb. You're dumb Americans. Sure, you can do this, but you can only do it for like 2 hours. And all the punks have to leave 3 by 3, so that way we don't have a mob. And like all these crowd scenes, which are actually some of the most like engaging parts of this movie, which I think lead to the bitchin' soundtrack aspect, is because these fucking teenagers couldn't congregate and listen to music that they wanted to. So they're like kind of weirdly like taking out all this like not aggression, but like they're having like a time that they couldn't under Soviet rule.
Fascinating.
Fun fact number 2, Christopher Lee was in World War II. Christopher Lee was kind of like famously a Nazi hunter. He was like, he did a lot of work with British Secret Service, and he was treated with a hero's welcome when he got to this area of the world, because apparently he like killed some high Nazi commander through like Secret Service shit. And like everyone kind of knew who he was.
Where's this fucking movie? Why was I
Right?
watching this?
Right?
Okay,
And
going back
the
to my
director had no clue. So they get to
Mhm.
Prague, and Christopher Lee like took the director to this church where like all these war crimes, these Nazi war crimes happened, and he was like, in the basement of this church, like all these people died, and this is why, this is like what's going on. And the director was like, "Oh, you're like a deep motherfucker."
So going back to my intro, Sybil Danning as Stirba, which we'll get to in all of her like 80s tall, blonde, big-titted glory, is she is gorgeous. She
Yes.
is beautiful. She has a stunning body. Christopher Lee killing Nazis and getting a hero's welcome in Czechoslovakia
Yeah.
while filming a B movie, that is sexy.
That is sexy.
Yeah.
So I think we found the answer. I mean, Secret Service agent is probably the sexiest.
Nazi hunter is the sexiest job
It's got
in
to
the
be.
world.
It's pretty high up there.
I really appreciate that the cut to scene to Volkova in Transylvania is a steam locomotive pulling up to a train station with Mariana on it, and I'm like, did she catch the Amtrak from Glendale? Like, how did she get that?
Oh my God, her outfits. I mean, all like her and Stirba both represent, but she is wearing like a black leather skirt suit with no shirt.
And the suit, the top is just like a V of black.
Oh yeah,
going down like just wide, just the most plunging neckline you can imagine.
I was like, can you imagine being on like a 12-hour overnight from Los Angeles to Prague and then getting onto a train and you're like nothing, you're wearing nothing but leather.
Yeah.
Well,
amazing.
You know what? She smells great, because, and sure enough, we meet Vlad.
She does smell great.
And they go, rawr.
So good.
Now, here's the thing. Vlad, this is played by Judd Omen, who I was like, where do I know this guy? Where I know this guy? How do I know this guy? He's in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He's the mean boyfriend in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Amazing. Vlad in this
love
movie is so incredible. He's so good. Because I mean his character is amazing. Like but he's going all in on this as the horniest werewolf. The horniest.
Shall we give out prizes for the horniest werewolves?
But I'm still mad that was dropped from Oscars. That they stopped giving that award out.
Dame Helen Mirren presents horniest werewolf. Hello.
Oh my God. I think for like a schlocky horror movie, I did kind of want this movie. I don't know that I should say I want anything out of this movie because I had so much fun watching it. So, but I think it's hard to get my brain to stop correcting bad scripts or scripts that don't fully follow the right thing. But like, I think for like a schlocky B horror, I wanted more like explicit violence. You know what I mean? Like, so we have these two German hitchhikers.
Oh my God.
Who get picked up by this cargo truck full of werewolves.
God.
And then they get pulled into the back and devoured. We never see them devoured. We just hear them going, And then in the front of the van, one of the werewolf men turns to the other and he was like, schnitzel.
Oh my God. Who is later the innkeeper.
Yes.
I love it. I was like, oh, it's Schnitzel. Oh.
But I wanted more of like the morality of like who they kill and how they kill them. And like,
I mean, German backpacker, it's, kind of unknown country road.
Yeah.
People disappear all the time.
Yeah.
And they're hungry. Jeffrey. They're so hungry. But again, it's like, do werewolves, do they eat people? Like because you never actually see, this is the thing. Like, you watch vampires suck blood. Well, actually, you watch vampires just get really messy with blood
Yes.
and make sucking noises usually. But werewolves don't even do the pretense. It's just like, it's just a lot of like limbs flying in the air, but they
Vampire
never
makes
seem to be
total sense.
like nom, nom, nom. You know, like you never see them like nom nom nom. You know what
I
I'm
th-
saying?
yeah, and I think that was one of the core questions I had when I asked early on in the show and keep asking is how do werewolf work, which is are because I understand vampires bloodlust for
Yeah.
humans because a vampire is kind of like the character the archetype of the vampire is connected to hedonism, right? It's
Hmm.
connected to like literal bloodlust, a
Yeah.
sexual desire,
Yeah.
like everything about it is purely physical. It's about consuming the body
Yeah.
in all of the ways that that can mean, whether
It's
satiating
essence.
yourself with
Yeah.
food, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever. The werewolf, I don't fully understand because I'm like, do they need the sustenance?
Hmm.
I would like to see
Yeah.
how they eat the people.
Yeah.
I would like to see the animalness of it because I think that's what werewolf is getting at. That it, in my mind, a werewolf shouldn't be about good and evil. It should be about human and animal. It should be about
Yes.
the animal side of
Yeah.
humanity,
Yeah.
which what is evil? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like if you are simply an animal now and you need to devour humans, is that evil? Because
Yeah.
if you're a human and you devour humans, that's evil. You if I kill another human being and eat them, that is pure evil. I should go to prison,
But what if
whatever.
you have a consent form?
That's a fantastic question. Yes.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
But yeah,
so
but
yeah,
werewolves are just like, they're just kind of messy.
yes.
They're messy eaters.
So let's cut to our first big evil werewolf ceremony, and holy shit, this is where I immediately thought, you guys are missing sexy because what it is a bunch of naked women, but they're not naked. They're in
They're
like
wearing
leather.
black leather bikinis
Yes.
that
That are
all
like with the titties
disrobe at
cut
the
out.
same moment.
Yes.
I mean, it's essentially how the United States government works.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, this is just Congress is in session.
And the ceremony here is we see Stirba, who is a very adorable old lady.
This old woman, this casting, they were like, let's find the nicest, frailest looking
She
old lady
looks
we
so
can possibly.
sweet.
She looks so confused.
Yeah.
What is her life? How did she get here?
And she's in
She
like
says nothing, she does nothing.
Um, probably one of the best transformation scenes in film
Oh
history
my God.
because she goes from this whole there's a whole ceremony to kill
Well,
the
yeah,
virgin and then
they bring out a virgin, on a pallet, all in
y-
white.
and old Stirba is going to become young Stirba. But what I love is that I setting it up that the old Stirba has like long gray,
Uh-huh.
wiry but
Yeah,
wavy
she's like
hair.
old lady here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's wearing just cloths and pelts,
Yep.
okay?
Yeah.
And then the blood ceremony of sacrificing the virgin is successful, which means now Stirba will have the body of this young woman who has similar hair. Like you could imagine the hair
Uh-huh.
that young Stirba has becoming the hair of old Stirba. But what I think is incredible is she tears off the pelts as young Sirba in she is wearing a plunging neck showing off her huge titties,
Huge
and
titties.
she's got these long
Golden
gold
nails.
fingernails.
These nails, she is like, I cannot touch anything.
and the question I had was old Stirba dressed like this under her pelts?
Oh, of course it was. Well, here's the thing.
I wanted to see that.
You glossed over the ceremony. So they
Uh-huh.
bring out this girl, on this like blonde, peasant girl on a pallet, and old Stirba snorts this girl like a line of cocaine. So of course she's going to be sexy and have good nails and a plunging neckline when she's done.
hmm
But no, I mean, like, really, just like, and this is where we get into like, is Stirba like sorceress? Like, what is? she like there's the like I love the animation overlay of like, I mean, she's literally snorting this girl's life essence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
She is sorceress. Yeah, that's what Stirba is. Sorceress werewolf. Oh god. Mariana shows up. She's got a kiss. She kisses Stirba's rings. We know that Mariana is like the top recruit at Werewolf Ltd, right?
Werewolf
Werewolf
West. Yeah.
Werewolf Europe Ltd,
Hmm.
Incorporated. Stirba with Vlad, and she's presenting this beautiful Mariana to him and saying, like, she's a huntress. She will bear us many fierce daughters and sons. Does she look good to you? And Vlad's face was like,
Yeah,
he is
uh-huh. He's so into it.
he's so turned. It's this
Yeah.
man's amazing
Yeah.
acting this scene. Take her, Stirba says, and we get. I don't. Please describe this scene to me.
Okay, so Mariana and Vlad are wolfing out
Uh huh.
on a giant red satin bed. And when I say wolf out, I mean like full head to toe wolf.
Yes.
Stirba is so turned on, she just has to rip her shirt off. A move which we will later see in the closing credits no less than 17 times.
Oh.
And then Stirba sort of watching them for a bit, but Stirba started. We get our first, I think, like the first ever blonde werewolf, I think, in the history of cinema.
Yeah.
All three of them are wolfed out now,
Yeah.
head to toe, full werewolf nudity. And yet, that's what their bodies are doing. But what their faces are doing tells a completely different story.
Uh huh.
Because they've got teeth and nose and prosthetics and the head to toe. There's like, I mean, it looks like they're just Italian, really, is really what it looks like.
Yeah.
But their faces are like, like, no, because they can't kiss. They
Yeah.
can't snapping and snarling, just snapping and snarling
These
their way
actors
to a werewolf orgy.
these actors look like they're having so much fun, but also a little bit confused as to why they got here and how.
Mm-hmm. Like, you just know that there's a moment where they're questioning their life choices.
Yes.
My thought is that they were questioning the life choices when they were doing the probably hours of prosthetic makeup,
Yes.
like fully nude, like with a team of people just like hot gluing hair to their
Yeah.
bodies.
Yeah. That I think if I were in a scene like this, I would probably be asking, like, how much does it pay just to do real porn?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Where's the line? Where's
I
the
think I can
line?
wrap my head around the plot holes in normal porn better than I can what's happening here. Um.
I love listen, 5 stars, no notes.
Yep. Uh. They so while Mariana took the Amtrak from Burbank to Transylvania, Jenny just drove her car there.
Jenny and Ben.
and,
Jenny,
and
Ben, and Stefan.
they threw Stefan in the back seat. He's sleeping while they're driving. Why is
No, right? He's a little bit older. He's got to rest. He's gonna
relatable.
vanquish an evil here.
Yeah.
He's gotta get some naps.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a 7:30 a.m. lobby call. He's got to
Mhm,
get some
mhm.
sleep later that
Oh my
afternoon.
God. They get to this hotel, which
Uh-huh.
we know is run by werewolves.
Totally. Because
And
it's
they
all
should
men
know.
who laugh at everything.
Oh my God. Like, your room is 666. You may notice there's not 6 floors. Two other men.
Young
Should we
man
just
shows
get
up.
our own bags, or
No, my nephew will take you up.
is there a Wi-Fi password, or what is when is checkout?
Is there free breakfast?
Why are you all laughing like this? Is this the only hotel in town? Because I'm not into this. I think we should regroup.
So they go upstairs Ben and Jenny. By the way, I'm just for time's sake, I'm just gonna not even talk about the weird like old woman who was hit by a car
The
on the road there,
townspeople.
and the
Oh well,
townspeople are like, "Please help her, she's sick." And then, of course, she's a werewolf.
of course she's a werewolf. And the
And
townspeople, listen, when you've been living with werewolves in your backyard for hundreds of years, you're like, oh no, we're not dealing with that. No, we
no,
know they're wise. The townspeople
yes,
are wise to this.
get the
My
American
favorite
tourists.
my favorite part of this scene is after Stefan sort of stabs peasant lady, like, oh, her soul is at rest. Where are you going, Stefan? I
That's
must
it.
leave you to
Yeah,
undisclosed location and do some things.
I'm gonna walk to the village. Like he's just gonna. Okay.
Out for an amble. I also love how it's like when Ben and Jenny are like, oh, the townspeople, where'd they go? Stefan, listen, this line reading is choice. They were here, now they are not here. Any questions?
That line reminded me of in the first when Joseph and I wrote the Welcome to Night Vale novel, the first Night Vale novel, in one of our drafts when we were doing a pass before sending it off to our editor. Um, Joseph was like, I don't know which of us wrote this line, but I had to delete it. But he had to point it out to me. I think I probably wrote it because it sounds like my overwrought writing, but it was something like the room was dark for lack of light. And
Uh-huh.
like thank you for that wonderful visual to
Yes.
really elaborate as to how dark why the
Yes.
room was dark. There
Why
was a
is
lack
the
of
room?
light.
What? Oh. In the same way that people are here, and then when they're not here, they're not
Yep,
here.
that's what this line was, where somebody really got too into their own writing and just forgot to really think it through. But okay, so Ben and Jenny are alone in their hotel room, and again, she's, I need you. Hold me, Ben. I'm so scared. All right,
Oh.
let's get our shirts off. Let's fuck.
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
And they do.
And outside at the
Uh-huh.
festival, there's, is that Vlad? Or is
That's
that just
Vlad.
like how is Vlad
What?
here
How is
now?
he? Right? Because we're gonna cut to Werewolf Three-Way in a minute. Be like, what are the werewolves up to? Well, I guess they sort of finished up Werewolf Three-Way,
But we are
and
gonna
now
cut.
he is
But this
but
is in between those three-way scenes. So
I
like,
know.
how did so he is just suddenly in the village doing like with like singers or dancers. There's a lot of like
And
folksy
he is
village shit
literally
happening.
dressed like Sir Charles, the Adams family. The like we will dance the dance of the mamushka.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes. But he is also like smelling the sex in the air.
Oh
You
my
can see
god,
him
he
like,
can smell it. And it turns him on, and
and he starts
like,
grabbing the dancer next to him. Like what the?
and
And
this
she's like, "What the fuck?"
I know, like the look on this extra's face is like, ah.
Ah. Okay, and he starts howling.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now we're gonna meet Vasila, who is the who is we're gonna meet Vasil,
Uh-huh.
Constantine, and
Mm-hmm.
Luca.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and Stefan, they lead them to Stefan in the church, and these are all Vasil, Constantine, and Luca are human men
Yeah.
in the village of werewolves that have all vowed to fight Stirba because they've all lost loved ones to the werewolves.
But it's not enough to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
You like him? His wife was killed by a werewolf. Cut to shot of a werewolf going, arr. Him? He lost his daughter to a werewolf. Arr.
A
And
lot of
him?
people.
His sister died last year. Arr.
A lot of people, when you take a like a basics of screenwriting class, the phrase you'll hear more often than not is show, don't tell.
Yeah, great.
And I think that that's actually wrong. I think the correct version of that statement is tell and show. Just do
Mm-hmm.
both. Why
Just
not
let
both?
him give it
Say it
both
out
barrels.
loud and then demonstrate it.
And then show it exactly what's going to, just like calling Howling to your sister as a werewolf, and then the first 10 minutes saying, your sister is a werewolf, just in case you missed it.
Uh-huh.
Here, watch this video that we have pirated a copy of. That's
And
not my sister. No, your sister is a werewolf.
another device that gets totally thrown out is the concept of good and evil medallions. So
Oh,
like
I love.
earlier at the
Yeah.
train station,
Yep.
Mariana and Vlad sniff each other, and then they have the best friends,
Oh
like
yeah.
broken
What
heart
happened?
medallions that they put
Yeah.
together.
The
And they're like,
BFF
this is
hearts.
proof we are both werewolf evil. Stefan in the church gives Ben and Jenny,
Like St. Christopher medals or
yeah,
something.
yeah. They were like, these will protect you. They don't protect shit. Nothing ever
No, they
comes of
don't.
these fucking medals.
No.
So the other the other thing is that Stefan is like, I just need you two to be patient and wait
Yes.
here and be
Uh-huh.
careful. We have to really, this is a careful
Uh-huh.
operation. I, as a cult investigator, have done
They'll
this
know
many
I'm coming.
times.
Yeah.
And Ben's like, nah, come on, Jenny, let's bounce. And that's what they did. They fucking leave.
Well, I mean, no, admittedly, this is Stefan's fault because he says, listen, just hang tight for a while. I'm going to need you all to just act like tourists. Just go to the festival, be tourists. You'll find me at the puppet show. If you need to contact me, meet me at the puppet show.
Always.
No follow up.
Mm-mm.
Just like, wait, what? Do we give, like, if we need to talk to you, do we, like, if we see a werewolf, if we like think the concierge at our hotel who laughed at us for something very weird for 2 minutes is a werewolf, do we like tell the puppets? What?
What?
Huh?
Well, let's talk about this puppet show, which is
Dope.
dope. It's a very good puppet show, actually. I really like the
I mean,
puppet show.
Eastern Europe, like
It's
Prague known for its puppetry.
it's very
And
good. It's great. It's a great wolf in sheep's clothing is the
yes.
narrative being spoken. Jenny and Ben are there with the nephew from the hotel who for
Uh-huh.
cheap he was like, for very little money, I will be your guide of the city. And so
Oh
he's
dear God.
showing them the puppet show. This
Uh-huh.
actor who plays
Oh
Jenny
my God.
drove like who is this? Like what is she doing in this movie? Sh Her read on the scene, or at least what's coming across, I don't know if this was her choice or
Uh-huh.
just how her choice is
Jenny. Yeah.
conveyed. Jenny,
Yeah.
she is she just looks put out by the puppet show.
Yeah.
She's just like,
Ugh.
let's just go back to the hotel.
Yeah,
This
this is
sucks.
dumb.
I'm like, is it? What? Who are you? What's your fucking thing?
And
Um,
yet, later, when their guide is like, Ben literally goes off to the bathroom and she's like, where's Ben? He's like, oh, Ben is at the gypsy camp. We must go right now. She's like, oh, okay.
what?
Really?
Also, like in the yeah, they okay, so here's what happens actually. Let's just walk through the timeline. So we had werewolf three-way, cut
Werewolf
to
thriller.
we had then we cut
Human
to
two-way.
so we cut to the so then we cut to the afternoon at the hotel where Ben and
Yeah.
Jenny are fucking.
Yeah.
Vlad is somehow there and can smell
Uh-huh.
their sex.
Yes.
Then they, after fucking, Ben and Jenny go to the church, meet up with Stefan and the boys.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Meet me at the puppet show.
they bounce from that, go see the puppet show, which is not where Stefan is. They just go to
No.
the puppet show that was just mentioned, but unrelated to why it was
Yeah.
mentioned. Watch a puppet show, get bored, go upstairs where Jenny takes a bubble bath
Yes.
and then cuts
They go.
back to the werewolf three-way with
Yes.
Stirba, Vlad, and Mariana. Then it's the next day. We're back out at the festival watching puppet shows again, and
And that's when Vasily, who's the dwarf, kind of gives like, come, and he
no, that was the
no,
previous day. We already did
was
that
it?
whole thing. Yes. It's the next afternoon when they're with Tondo, who's the nephew guide from the
Okay. Oh
hotel.
yes, yes.
And they're watching
Split
another
up.
puppet show or the festival stuff. And Ben is like, hey, Tondo, keep an eye on Jenny. I'm going to sneak away and get her a gift. And that's how they get separated.
Okay. Okay.
But Ben sees Vlad and Mariana there,
Yeah.
who he knows who they are.
Yeah.
Stefan, who's trying not to be seen, is also just out watching the festival
Full. Yeah.
and gets
Yeah. No, he's
spotted by
watching the puppet show.
He's watching the puppet show. He gets spotted by the werewolves. I'm like, there's just loads of incompetence happening here.
Yeah.
But what happens is that this is when Ben again gets caught up with Vasile,
Mhm.
who draws him away, and they follow because they see Vlad and Mariana. And Ben, rather than telling Jenny, hey, by the way, this is what's happening, he just abandons her.
Yeah.
He just leaves her with unknown giggly werewolf hotel employee
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and goes off with Vasile, who they have no plan.
No,
They
they're
just track them to the castle,
yeah.
which is apparent from later dialogue that no one knew where this castle was.
Uh-huh. Nobody knows where the castle is.
Do you mean the castle atop the hill?
You mean the castle? Why would a werewolf queen want to live in a castle? That's the last place we would look for her. My favorite is the earwax of Jesus. Jesus's earwax.
I thought these were fucking teeth when he first hands them to him.
They are blessed earwax. Now, listen, the arsenal we have on God's side is abundant.
Uh-huh.
There's titanium knives, silver bullets.
Yes.
We've got oil, consecrated oil.
Prism, as
Yeah,
they
there's
call
a
it.
prism.
No, chrism is what it's called.
Oh,
Chrism, which is the holy sacramental
Is that a word?
sacred. Oh, I don't know, but I'm like, is it like, okay,
Is that like
forgive me for this, but is it
is that
Christ
Christism? Is that chrism?
Chrism.
Look that up. That's not a word. I mean, unless it's Christism, which I want you all to be making an entry on Urban Dictionary right now.
Chrism is another word for myrrh. It is holy anointing oil.
No, it's not. That is Christism.
It is used in Eastern Orthodox, various Catholic churches.
Okay,
in the old world.
it's the smells part of the smells and bells. Gotcha.
Yes.
And listen, when that shit goes off, it is those pyrotechnics are worth it. However, at one point, it's kind of they sort of buried there, like, oh, and then we also have this holy water, which is in a vial that once held Christ's blood. Anyway, we also have these knives. I was like, wait, you have the wait, just back up one second. Do you
Bury
have
the
the Holy
lead.
Grail?
Yes.
You have the Holy Grail.
No, but what I'm saying is I have holy water to defeat werewolves up in the castle we just learned
But
about.
no. But what are you carrying that holy water in?
Well, the way we make holy water is a priest, prays over
No, I
the
know
water.
that. I know that. But what are you actually carrying it in?
I'm not sure why you're confused. It's just a vessel that once held Christ's blood. But that's how we hold the holy water. It's very convenient because it doesn't spill everywhere once it's in the vessel. Yes.
That sounds like a very specific. like, didn't King Arthur go on a search for this?
Didn't Indiana
And
Jones's
not find it,
father
or he
almost
did?
die?
Yeah. Oh my god.
But
you've also got these like holy candle earwax earplugs.
Yeah, so Vasile gives these to Ben, being like, he does not explain this well, Cecil, because what he tells him is that like for good luck, basically, it's said that these will bring luck, like to put them in your ears.
Uh-huh.
No, what they apparently do is prevent your brain from exploding inside your skull and out your eyes.
Yes.
When the sorceress talks in fake Latin.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Vasile needs to explain further.
This is more important than you kind of buried the lead on these holy earwax ear candles.
It's a little bit like, giving a soldier or an officer of the law a bulletproof vest and them going, what is this for? And they're like, I just think it'll look good on you.
It's fashion.
I don't know. It's just kind of what we do. Okay.
It'll make your biceps look really, really tight,
Handing a baseball player a bat. What's this for? It'll bring you luck when you go up to the plate.
Good luck.
These earplugs are vital to living.
Yeah. I also love the fact that now we have all these scenes where everybody's in earplugs, and I just wanted it to be the interesting going, what? What? I'm gonna go in the what? Oh
Oh my
Jesus, let me take
God.
this earplug out. And their eyes explode.
Amazing. Yeah, we've there's these like false starts where Vasile and Ben try to storm the castle themselves.
Yep.
Vasile kills the guard by just tossing a knife at him and crushing his head up close.
Yeah.
Um,
They
but
enter.
they enter. Stirba totally sees them, starts chanting. Ben just ditches Vasile, keeps running.
Yeah.
Vasile's brain literally explodes in his skull and comes out his eyes.
His eyeballs pop out like champagne corks
Yeah.
because Stirba has like supersonic werewolf howl. Listen, the witchery, the sorcery in this movie is top notch
Yeah.
because one, nails, doing a
Uh-huh.
lot of nail acting,
Yes.
a lot of fake Latin chanting.
Mm-hmm.
She, I can't, I don't like. There's no words.
Right.
It's so good.
It's amazing. Meanwhile, Jenny is with Tondo. He has led her halfway up the mountain to the not so secret castle, and she says, "Wait a second, Tondo. This doesn't look like the way to the village."
The village is that way. And he's like, well, we should hurry up.
And then he says, oh, look, a lover's moon. I want to make love to you." What? You've got to slow your roll, my man.
Yeah. And he starts to attack her, but then a werewolf attacks him because they want Jenny as bait.
Yes. And she says, take him away and teach him discipline. That's what Stirba says too about Tondo.
13-year-old boys.
Yeah.
They're hot. They're always hot for teacher, aren't they?
Yeah. Understandable. Teachers are hot. Teachers, being a teacher, that's a sexy job.
Listen,
Good
when
job.
you asked me what profession, I was like teacher, but
Yeah.
there's some questionable ramifications to that.
Yeah, you have
what
to
is the
kind of be
hottest
careful.
profession?
Yeah, you have to be careful with how you talk about that one. But yes.
But like I've had some hot teachers in my day, and hot teachers are hot.
Mm-hmm. So, 2 extra hotness stars for being a teacher.
You're like, you are educating the youth of the world.
Uh-huh.
Hot.
Yes. You're very competent if you were like in that job for a long time.
A fifth of what you should be paid.
Yes. So then basically the undead body of Vasile goes back and taunts Stefan.
Very, very Wicker Man. Like we put like a little carnival mask on, and we like, and the voiceover, priceless.
It's like little kid voice being like,
Stefan. Unhinged. What was it? It's not Don't Look Now, Wicker Man. But then also, what was? Oh God, gee, I think there was. There was another one of Raincoat. Was it Cameron Esposito was on?
Alice, Sweet Alice? No,
Alice, Sweet Alice.
Maybe that's
One
a
of
little
those.
Yellow Raincoat movie.
And Stefan is like, I'm gonna follow this crazy person.
Yeah.
Who is giggling my name like a 4-year-old girl, and I'm going to follow them into an abandoned building.
Yeah.
While being followed by Ben. Good thing Ben is following because, that's a undead. It's his undead friend with a knife.
Yeah. And so undead Vasile attacks Stefan, but then Ben is there to chuck him out a window and impale him on spikes below. And we kind of learn from Stefan, like, oh, Stirba killed our friend and then sent this as like a warning, as reanimated to
just to make me mad.
Warning. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that much of my sympathy in this movie lies with the werewolf people because what we get when we see inside the castle where Jenny's been tied up in a room of bones, just looking, this actor's choice is just, I'm bored. I don't know what's happening and I'm bored and I don't like being tied up, is the look on her face through all of these scenes. But
disaffected.
Vlad is like, later I'll come back and make you one of ours. And then we cut to just a straight up werewolf orgy
Yeah.
where they have also hired the band Babel that we saw earlier in LA. They have the same
Are
set
they?
rig.
Are they? They're in
It's
the same, but it's like they're cutting between the the punk band in LA. So are they in the same place?
I think
Or is
so.
it just overlaid?
I don't
Are
know.
the band Werewolf? They
I
listen.
think you can hire that band for house parties, Cecil. I
I'm not disagreeing, but it just seems highly unusual.
yeah.
But then again, if you're Stirba, Queen of the Werewolves, you get whatever band you want for your 10 millionth birthday party.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's so like, wait, what is the location?
And
This werewolf orgy is also amazing, by the way.
it's so great. And I was thinking, wow, I kind of want to be a werewolf
Yeah.
because that's what they're there for. There's a lot of fucking, a lot of nudity, a lot of listening to 80s bitchin' music,
I
and
literally saw somebody licking somebody's kneecap,
dope into it.
right?
I can get
Like there's
into
a
it.
dude just standing on it, just doing a headstand.
Yes.
Not sexual, but just doing a headstand while,
Fucking love it.
wearing like a leather jockstrap or something.
Yeah.
This is Cirque du Soleil shit.
Yeah.
Like you and I would pay like northwards of $150 to go watch this in Las Vegas.
I want to go to this immersive theater production where we just all get to put fur on
Oh
our
my
bodies,
God.
lick each other's kneecaps, and be in a werewolf
Jeffrey.
orgy.
Yeah. Fuck Macbeth. Fuck the Odyssey. I want Punch Drunk Theater, whatever, to do Stirba's birthday. You
We
have been
have a title,
invited.
folks. We have a title. Ding, 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 ding. Stirba's birthday.
Stirba's birthday.
But where I feel bad is the moment that Stefan and the boys
Yep.
go on their march up the hill with their secret weapons,
Yep.
rifles and giant blades. Stirba knows they're coming, as she says,
Oh
our
my God.
enemies have arrived. Go now and destroy them. And I hate that the werewolves, I guess part of your payment from getting to do puppy orgies is
Yeah.
you are immediately conscripted to
Into the
fight.
werewolf farm. And listen, there has never been a harder stop to an orgy ever. Ever.
I don't.
It's like record scratch. Fight.
Yeah.
Fucking, then fighting.
Yeah.
And of course, Stirba is this outfit. I mean, one, I want to know, how does she sit down in this outfit? Well, we actually watch her sit down, and it is uncomfortable. You can tell. This black and gold. She kind of looks like a bee.
She does.
She looks like Mrs. Incredible dressed as a bee with Corey Haim sunglasses on.
And this material looks inflexible.
No, it is. No, it's, I mean, it's brilliant because it's very armor.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like suit of armor, werewolf suit of gold, but
it protects only her nipples and belly button.
That's right.
And cooter. That's it. That's the only
all.
Parts of her body that are being protected.
That's really all you need.
We just get a long ass werewolf assault. A lot of werewolves getting blowed up and stabbed. And again, it's just a lot of close ups of werewolf jaws and the camera going,
snap, snap, snap. Yeah.
Or then close up of like knife hitting fur and a little bit of blood
Yeah.
trickling out. Like that's kind of the violence. Like really, the wad was shot on Vasily's head exploding.
Yeah. Oh, I beg to differ.
Oh wait, what am I forgetting?
We still have a gargoyle hump that we have
Oh
to get
yeah,
over.
fuck. No, I'm so sorry. Yes, of course. Yes, no. The
Okay, but
pièce de résistance.
Yes,
as they say.
No,
yeah.
I think there's an actual reason for this. So apparently, this budget was so tight and so low and so ridiculous when they got the werewolf costumes in, because a lot of this, even the LA scenes, a lot of the LA scenes, because that forest that's in LA where that was a lot that was shot in like outside of Prague, right? Apparently, when they got the werewolf costumes from the producers, they had gotten Cast Off Planet of the Apes costumes instead.
Oh.
Which is why the werewolves in this movie look like motherfucking Sasquatch. they look like Bigfoot, not werewolves. And everybody was like,
Oh,
these are not werewolf, these are monkey costumes. And the producers were like, I don't know, we've already shipped it.
wow.
And that's why all these extras look like Sasquatch.
That's phenomenal. That's so good.
That's why you have no real, like, the werewolves in this movie are either like primary players that have had, it's like the three-way, the werewolf three-way, or cut away to a werewolf getting stabbed in B-roll because like they had no suits for everybody. So this is why you just have, and I love it when she's like, "Fly, my pretties," and then you just have these like giant fur costumes in the least amount of lighting exiting the castle one by one because they only had like 3 of these.
Oh,
I love it. I
amazing.
love it.
Well, uh, inside, so as all of the werewolf army had to cut short, the reason they're getting their asses kicked by these humans is
Yeah,
because they had to go immediately from werewolf orgy
I know.
to fight. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a reason like why before a big game, football players like go
like
to sleep
amp up. Yeah,
early, do
yeah, yeah,
their
yeah.
food and carb routines, do their morning workout, do a little stretching. There was no stretching, there was no
No,
workout, there was no diet go to war. They had to go from my dick is out to I've got to kill human invaders.
yep.
So
And
they get their
they
asses.
their asses kicked. I mean, Stefan and crew only lose one person,
Yep.
which considering that they just killed, I don't know, I would say upwards of 50 werewolves in this werewolf
Sure.
orgy that are then
Yeah.
like, and they're just bow, 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 bow. They only
Yeah.
lose one. So,
Constantine gets bitten. Luca gets bitten, and Stefan has to kill him and the beast with a road flare.
yep.
Um, inside, Stirba, Vlad, and Mariana are in their like little prayer circle thing,
Oh
but
my God.
Stirba is like, bring me the girl.
Yes.
So Vlad and Mariana have to go get Jenny, and Vlad starts having another horny freak out
This
and
is
turn.
again, this dynamic between Marion and Vlad. I could have watched an entire movie with these two
Yes,
characters because Vlad is like wolfing out, and Marion's like, "No, keep it together, man. We have to do like this is legit the most interesting Stanislavski acting. Like we have like actual stakes, we have
hmm
actual motivation, and actors like kind of going for it. Like I feel like I'm actually watching a movie for these 30 seconds.
yeah, and he can't control it.
Can't
She's like,
control it.
you have to control it because we have to bring Stirba the girl,
So she
but
gets out her whip.
she, she starts whipping his ass with a
Uh-huh.
whip to get him
Uh-huh.
off of the girl because he's so horny for
Yep.
Jenny or whatever.
Yep.
But then Ben shows up, blows his brains out,
Yep.
and then stabs Mariana
Oh,
and then takes
like
Jenny away.
oh man, like literally Mariana has been in the movie since like even before our protagonist, and this is the weak death that we get for her,
Yeah.
and the weak death. I mean, Vlad at least kind of like y'all didn't know what you had.
It's the biggest disappointment of this film is not the script. It is not getting to see Mariana, the true
Yeah,
like badass villain,
like she's
have
kind of
the
set up
fight
as,
with Ben.
yeah, like because like okay, Stirba clearly sorceress,
She's the
magic user.
emperor.
Yeah,
She's the emperor, whereas Mariana is the Darth Vader. Like Darth
yeah,
Vader really
like
is the one we're interested in.
like she's got the fighting skills, and she just goes right down. One stab in the gut, dead.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's get into in the castle. Of course, Stefan's plan is let's all split up. You
Yeah,
go
oh
save
no.
Jenny. Father Florin, you wander around
You wander
wherever.
around.
I'll
Me,
go wander
I'm gonna
around.
pray.
I'm going to pray. Stirba is like messing with this gargoyle
Oh
when
my god.
Father Florin thinks he is sneaking up on
Om
her.
Shanti
Oh,
Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti. Oh, Om Shanti Shanti. I've been expecting you, Father. He's like, I'm he's got an axe, which,
Uh-huh.
axe v werewolf, you could do worse, but you could do better.
Yeah.
And this motherfucking bat gargoyle comes to life, flies across the room.
Not flies. She chucks it.
Oh,
It is.
she chuck it
Yeah.
off her giant orbed scepter,
Uh-huh.
this is the point where I nudged my boyfriend awake from sleep, because he can't stay awake during watching a single movie. I was like, that's what I want for Christmas. I want a giant bat gargoyle on a scepter, please. But
Next
this
time,
gargoyle comes to life and it face humps this man to death.
I was like, is that its tail going in its mouth?
Yes.
In his mouth?
Correct.
And then it is so. This is where I'm like, oh, this is pornographic without it being actual sex, because it does.
Tell me you're horny without telling me you're horny. Hump this puppet.
Unbelievable, this scene. Just
gargoyle fellatio.
Yeah.
Gargoyle cunnilingus. I don't even know what to.
It is sending its girthy 9-inch tail up into the roof of his mouth.
Yes.
And into his brain. It is skull fucking this father.
Yes.
And
it's
I rewound. I had to understand what was happening here. Later we're gonna see his, like, of course he's dead. But later we're going to see at the end of this film, in just a couple minutes, the gargoyle like emerge from his face.
Like it's inside of him somehow now?
Did it impregnate his head and another baby gargoyle is coming out?
I think it just made a little nest for itself inside his cranium.
Okay.
Like it crawled in and just started eating its way in.
Yes.
And I love how Stirba's like just casually walks over. He's like, I'm done here.
That's sexy. Yes.
She's also not concerned that both Mariana and Vlad are dead.
No.
Jenny is gone because her ultimate goal is to get to Stefan.
Yes. And we get this showdown.
They literally, it's a wizard battle. It's a wizard duel.
It is. It is two actors having to do hands in the air. We will draw in laser beams later.
Oh my God.
80s.
And it's like, what is their relationship? They're like, Stirba says, oh, don't worry about Stefan. He's my brother. He's your brother?
What?
Is he also 10 million years old? Or is he the brother of the body you were inhabiting, the nice old granny?
Do you mean
who's prematurely aged?
Do you mean like metaphorically, like
like he's like my kin?
Yeah, like Cecil, you're my brother. We're on the
brother
road
in
together.
arms.
Yeah, my brother from another mother. Yeah.
But then also apparently she, like, during their incantation battle, she's like, you never could resist me. So were they brother lovers?
Yeah.
Sibling lovers?
So I think if we take
how many lifetimes have they been doing this, Jeffrey?
At face value, they are 10 million or 10 millennia old siblings. That were hot for each other.
And she turned to the dark side.
She was constantly seducing him and he could never resist. So he spent a lifetime trying to fight the occult because he was so overwhelmed by his super hot sister.
Yeah. So how is he so old? Or I still think my working theory is that the old granny body that she inhabited, that was his sister.
Yes.
Even though that woman is definitely 20 years, 30 years plus
older than Christopher Lee. Yeah.
But I was like, honestly, if you're housing the body of a werewolf queen, that wear and tear is going to be real rough, you know?
Yeah. You're going to be a stressful job.
Yeah, you're going to go, it's like Barack Obama in like the second term, you know? You're going to be like run through the ringer when you're the werewolf queen of the world. So but then she appears during the sorcerer battle and she's like, hey, I'm still your sister. So but Stirba is just like literally day glow out of her hand.
Yeah. drawing him close. He goes along with it, but we realize he's also not he's not under her spell. He's going along with it because his plan
he's his chanting, "The power of Christ compels you," or whatever he's chanting.
Yeah, and then he gets close enough to her to where he can stab her with his special titanium rod, and
she seems okay with this
because her whole goal was never world domination or orgies, which I'm like, why? Yeah. Honestly, you don't need world domination. You don't need your brother. You can have dope ass werewolf fuck parties.
Yeah.
In a Romanian castle on a hill.
Yeah. Eating German hikers left, right, and center.
Once a month, there's a fucking puppet festival in the local village.
Yep.
You have probably German hitchhikers galore to devour whenever you need them.
Yeah.
Why are you fucking around with trying to hook up with you? Don't need marriage, girl. You do not need marriage. You do not need an eternal marriage, which is what she says. We will be wedded forever, and burst her and Stefan into flames.
Burst into flame. And she is over the moon by this decision.
Y'all don't need marriage. If you want to be married, I encourage it because that's the thing you want. But you don't have to have it.
You don't need it.
You don't need it. I'm not poly guy. We're not talking poly relationships. I'm just saying you don't have to give up.
It's not the end game. It's not the end game.
Don't give up your life dreams because you think you have to get married, which is what happens here with Stirba. I'm like, no, you had a werewolf fuck palace. You had a stabbing cabin on a hill in Prague.
You had it all.
You had it all.
You threw it away for a man.
It was for Nazi hunter Christopher Lee, though.
That's true. I mean, if you're going to throw it away for somebody, it's like he's pretty high up there.
Epilogue.
Oh my God. No, I can't. I can't. Because I just can't, Jeffrey. Back in Sunny Law. Now, there's something that is remiss on this podcast that we have not talked about, and that is all the wipes. Star wipe, snail wipe, diamond wipe.
Yeah.
Like you know what? The reason why these don't exist anymore, it's like watching iMovie, like old school iMovie.
Yes.
Because, and it's fallen out of fashion these days with the youth. But listen, a fucking snail wipe, star wipe, diamond wipe, like Star Wars Episode 4 kind of shit.
Yeah.
I
young
love
filmmakers of Gen Z, Gen Alpha, you're listening
Bring
to this.
back the wipe.
Yeah, you want to be a filmmaker? Bring that shit back. Your film professor
back the wipe.
At USC will say no, and you will say yes.
Do it anyway. Do it anyway. And make your movies less dark.
Yeah, at least bring back light, please. God damn it.
Bring back lighting to your film.
So,
epilogue.
It's Halloween night. Creepy fucking werewolf.
Jenny and Ben are still kicking it, knocking the boots. They've got some silver bullets on the nightstand just in case. And even though clearly they by the way, they literally walk after Stefan is dead. Jenny is covered in blood, running through the streets of this little village. They walk up to a musician, not even one of the werewolf cadre that they think. Just they point a gun in this man's face and say, "Where is the airport? Are you my Uber driver?"
Yes, thank you for bringing that scene.
At gunpoint.
That is the wildest fucking. That is buck wild, that scene. Yeah. And they're happily living back in the U.S. in their condo and in Los Angeles. And knock, knock. It's Halloween evening. It is full daylight. We're doing early Halloween. Boy.
They're being very cute.
Boy comes to the door. They're like, "Oh, trick or treaters. Let's go give them some candy." And this kid is dressed as a werewolf, and they're a little bit like,
But it doesn't look like a mask.
No,
it looks like an actual werewolf kid.
And then they watch him like go into the apartment next door. And so they're like, "Well, let's go meet the neighbors." That's
investigate.
Because that is supposed to be an
empty apartment.
Yeah, I didn't think anyone lived there. This man who lives next door, I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like whether you're a werewolf or not, I don't care. Your whole vibe is
your vibe is
freaking me out.
It's a battle between whose vibe is grosser, him or the werewolf guide who like leads Jenny
Yeah,
all up and down. It's a tight race. Like
it
that is a
is.
tight race on
Yeah,
whose vibe is schmarmier.
yeah. I mean, the werewolf guide Tondo is straight up a sex criminal, so I will say
Yes.
he's probably worse but less annoying as a
But then you
vibe.
have like sweaty,
Well,
giggly priest.
his high pitched, won't you come in? Not tonight, maybe later. I hope so. I'm like, what are you talking? Are you Edith
What?
Bunker? What is going on? Okay, and he
The
says, "No,
end.
I don't have any kids. I've never
Yeah.
had kids. I live alone."
What?
Dun, dun, dun. In the
But we just saw we just saw a werewolf kid.
pale light of the moon.
And then now here's the thing. This is another thing that this you should not bring back. Your UCLA film professor will tell you don't do this, and you probably shouldn't unless you do. And then I applaud your chutzpah. And that is not an end to your film, just an extended credit sequence.
With a music video
Yeah,
kind of
of like
montage.
reaction shots of each cast member reacting to your main character ripping her tits out.
Yep.
Just tits, reaction, tits, reaction.
Yeah, and every kind of like
reaction.
Every big like beat hit of the song, like every four measures of this song, there's a big hit with the
Tits.
drums, and then we see tits on
Reaction.
on the beat. It's the silliest, weirdest shit I've ever seen. What the fuck did we just watch? Shall we rate this movie?
Yes, let's.
God, how approachable is this movie? If you are horror film averse, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I would not recommend watching this if you're horror averse, 10 being think you're totally fine even if you're squeamish. I mean, God, what? I'll give Howling to
Oh,
your sister's a werewolf like 5 werewolf orgies out of 10. I mean, it's super gory in the most basic 80s sort of way, I
I mean,
guess.
you have two face explosions.
Yes. You have a face
You've
fucking
yeah.
by a gargoyle.
You've
It's
got
like
werewolves getting blown away.
it's gloopy gloppy
Yeah, a
horror
bit.
a bit, but not all the way through. I mean, this one's a tough one because I think even if you're horror squeamish, you watch this with a group of people, you are not going to be affected
There's
by
no
this
scared.
movie.
Like there's
It's
no
not scary. It's so
I think
stupid.
literally there's literally the weakest jump scare in the world where Ben sneaks up on Jenny in the bathtub and goes, "Boo."
Yeah, the
That
fake out jump scare, which was so anemic. It was so bad.
like if you can survive that, you can survive this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna amp this up to 7. I don't know. Like, I think the worst part about it is the sex criminal Tondo, and also like there's like ineffectual, violent sexual assault, but in the
Oh
most
yeah.
stupid way possible.
Yeah.
And then obviously like the very 80s practical effect blood and gore, but not a lot of it. When they do it, it's disgusting.
Yeah. But they don't do it often.
They don't do it often.
It's mostly just that poor Mariana in that very strange looking face going, "Ah!"
Approachability 7. Yeah, you guys, I don't know, have fun with it. This is a fun fucking movie in the most unintentional way possible. Cecil, as a horror film, how do you rate this one?
I mean, this is the quintessential movie. A friend of mine once said, 5-star movies are a dime a dozen. It's really the 1-star movies that you want to watch.
Yeah,
And so it's like 10 werewolf orgies, 1 werewolf orgy, doesn't matter.
one and the same.
Like you're either going to think it's a 10 or you're going to think it's a 1. If you think it's a 10, you're my friend. If you think it's a 1, then God bless you. Go back to Sunday school.
I had this thought recently about the scale of 1 to 10, right? Or whatever your
Yeah,
scale is. So 1 to
sure.
5 stars, 1 to 10. For so long, we think of that as a single bar, right? Like a
Yeah.
line segment
Yes,
that
yes,
goes
yes,
from 1 to
yes.
10. It's
Uh-huh.
actually a circle because there's a
Mm-hmm.
space. If you imagine a circle connecting the 1 to the
Yes.
10, there's a space between 1 and 10 on the other side,
Yep.
outside of the
That
other
is
numbers.
either like less
good-
than 1 or more than 10.
A classy movie became so so pretentious that it's horrible.
Yeah.
Or a bad movie became so bad it's good.
Like this
right?
is the showgirls of horror movies.
Yes, it really
Let's
is.
I mean, like blonde Versace dress
Yes,
and all.
yes.
So if you think Showgirls is camp classic gold,
Hmm.
then you will like Howling to Your Sister is a Werewolf. If you
Yes.
think Showgirls is a waste of time, overblown, sexist, all that, then you will probably think very similarly of this movie. This movie is pure trash, and it is trash that I eat with a knife and fork.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it exists in that zero space between
Yeah.
1 and 10, like that. Yeah, I don't know. There's
It's so bad
some.
it's good, or so good it's bad. No, it's definitely so bad it's good.
It's an imaginary number. You have to rate
Yes.
this movie. It is I. On a scale of 1 to
Schrodinger's
10,
box.
I rate this I.
Yeah.
Okay.
Schrodinger's cat. I don't fucking know.
Let us figure out what movie we will watch next. You have a scare die. I have a style die. We'll roll those up, see what movie matches those two things. If you roll a 1 on your scare die, Cecil, our next scare is isolation. 2, wild card, whatever scare we want. 3, aquatic scare. 4, bad mom, bad dad. 5, cult is the scare, a cult. Or 6, end of the world. What is our scare?
That's a 3.
That is great. Okay, so we're gonna
Oh,
take
we
you.
finally get this aquatic.
Holy
It's been on the
shit.
dice for a minute.
It has. So we're going to match up your aquatic with whatever style I roll. If I roll a 1, our next movie style is Southern Hemisphere. It comes from the south of the equator. 2, a splatter film. 3, a black and white film. 4, a cult film, meaning like cult following. 5, a movie from the 1970s. Or if I roll a 6, it is first 3 episodes we will bring back our TV show watching. Okay, so let's figure out what aquatic we're going to get. I got a 3 black and white aquatic.
3 and 3.
3 and 3. Got another double. Hitting some doubles lately. Okay, so let's we create a little list on our end to kind of put some thoughts we have that might fit this, but also we have a letterboxd account at Random Horror 9. If you join that, you can go look at lists under Random Horror 9, and we keep track of all of the possible combinations for dice rolls, and you can kind of contribute to that. So, what do we have on our list? See, so we've got. I'll read what I put on here,
Okay.
and then you can kind of tell us what people on Letterboxd had to say. I put on Phantom Ship. I don't know how horror this is, I guess, kind
This
of.
is a cartoon, Jeffrey.
No. Did I write the wrong thing? What did I write?
No, no, no. I think you did. Wait.
Wait, what did I just do? Phantom.
I am looking at the picture of a cartoon.
Oh, you know what it is? I think probably I dubbed it wrong on it is the wrong thing. On Letterboxd, I pulled up the wrong thing. Phantom Ship is actually the Mystery of the Mary Celeste is the
Okay.
other name for it. So I screwed that up on Letterboxd
Because
by
I'm looking at some
tagging.
Steamboat Willie shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
listen,
no.
Steamboat Willie is aquatic and black and white. So I was gonna go with listen, you're an equal partner in this podcast.
Phantom Ship: The Mystery of the Mary Celeste is a 1935 film starring Bela Lugosi. So during a
Ooh.
horrific storm at sea, the crew realizes that there is a murderer among them who is killing them off one by one. So aquatic is not the horror; it's actually land-based creatures killing them, but it is at sea.
I don't know. It
Um,
sounds amazing.
yeah, it sounds really cool. I don't know how horror it is. I think it's more scary thriller. But I don't know.
Bela Lugosi.
Another movie is It Came from Beneath the Sea.
This looks
Um,
dope.
yeah, this is
This
a
looks like a
19
Ray Harryhausen joint.
yeah, this is 1955 film about a giant octopus, basically.
Yes.
And then we have another classic black and white creature feature, which is called The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, 1953. A very Godzilla-looking monster comes out of the water and
Amazing.
attacks New York City. So it looks like, although it looks like this came out the year before Godzilla, but it's a very Godzilla-like
Wow.
premise. The controlled explosion of an atomic bomb in the Arctic Circle awakens a frozen dinosaur that will wreak havoc in New York City.
Uh-oh.
This was 1953, but Godzilla, the original, was, I believe, 1954.
Wow.
That's interesting. Anyways, what does the letterbox have to say?
King and Commander requests Creature from the Black Lagoon. We've already covered that one.
We did. I
We've
usually
done that
try and
one.
mark those on Letterboxd to ones we've done. Great suggestion, but go back and listen. We do have that in our archive.
Ganymede's Cup recommends The Giant Behemoth from 1959. Originally, the Behemoth, the Sea Monster, a British-American sci-fi horror flick. Marine atomic test. Man, all these atomic tests under the water cause changes in the ocean's ecosystem, resulting in a dangerous blobs of radiation and a resurrection of a dormant dinosaur that threatens London.
Okay, so this is just straight up London ripoff of Godzilla. And maybe Godzilla was a ripoff of the beast from 20,000 Fathoms. I
Who
don't know, but
knows?
boy, I'm looking at stills from this, and this looks like they have the black and white dinosaur creature crossing over train tracks and across power
Wow,
lines.
straight out of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Weaponized Toaster seconds It Came from Beneath the Sea and also recommends Creature from the Haunted Sea, 1961. A crook decides to bump off members of his inept crew and blame their deaths on a legendary sea creature. What he doesn't know, the creature is real.
Oh,
Oh!
dope.
Katie recommends The Monster That Challenged the World, 1957. Doesn't know if it's available online, but just an option. And also, this is kind of a cheeky little cheat. Carnival of Souls, because the river scenes at the beginning could be a scare,
Oh,
and they are aquatic.
okay.
Katie also recommends Living Skeleton from 1968, Japanese and boat horror.
Oh, I like boat horror.
And Sea Flesher 82 recommends Revenge of the Creature, 1955. Sequel to probably the best of the Universal Monster movies, this time in Florida.
Oh,
And
interesting.
Diamond Fudge recommends The Flesh Eaters, 1964. This is Killer Algae.
Oh,
3
shit.
exclamation points. Listen, it doesn't get much more aquatic than that. We've either got to go micro or macro. Giant dinosaurs or killer algae.
I have a all right. I have a couple on here that are really standing out to me. I don't know if you have ones. I'll tell you the two that I think are interesting. They're kind of both ends of the spectrum. One is that I just looked up Living Skeleton, which was one that was recommended by Katie. Living Skeleton is I believe this is a Japanese film. A ship is attacked at sea for its cargo by a group of thieves who murder a newlywed doctor, rape his wife. 3 years later, her twin sister is kidnapped by the same pirates who began to die strange deaths.
Ooh, this looks
it's also on
legit.
Criterion Collection, so
Classy.
there's a classiness to this.
Yeah.
That I think could be really, really interesting. It is a Japanese horror or thriller type of thing that I think could be really fascinating. The other one that I find interesting is The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, because I did not know this. I just did a quick search, but this movie spawned Godzilla. It was an inspiration to create the movie Godzilla, which I think is really fascinating. I kind of think of Godzilla as the OG, but it actually went from Beast from 20,000 Fathoms and I guess did it more memorably.
And this is definitely a Ray Harryhausen joint.
Dope.
And however, here I'm going to counter with like everybody sort of says what I'm noticing is the Beast is amazing, but whenever the Beast is not on the screen, maybe a bit dull.
Yeah, which is why maybe Godzilla is the more memorable film of giant lizard attacks, nuclear lizard attacks a city.
I gotta throw in The Flesh Eaters.
Okay.
For the simple fact that it takes place in Provincetown.
Oh, really?
So I would just like to see gay P-Town Flesh Eaters remake. Do I want to watch the original Flesh Eaters? Unknown.
Yeah, this is tiny flesh-eating sea creatures that result certainly give our heroes a run for their money and their lives. Oh, a renegade Nazi scientist using ocean life?
I don't know, Jeffrey, the Flesh Eaters. It sounds like it's got everything.
It is available for streaming. You can catch that on a Tubi. Yeah. Do you want to watch another like bonkers,
campy,
silly, fucking
or do we
campy
want to
movie.
like swing the pendulum back to something a little classier like The Living Skeleton? I mean, The Living Skeleton does sound pretty damn good.
It does sound pretty good. I do like a movie I haven't heard of that is a
Yeah.
Criterion type of
Yeah.
thing. It's a matter of like how much do we want to stay in the having just done Howling 2, do we want to stay in the world
Yeah.
of campy, which I love. This was
Uh-huh.
a super fun episode to do. Um or do we want to do classy? Sometimes classy is really nice as a movie watching experience, but maybe less fun to talk about because you're like,
Sure.
well, the movie's pretty tight. What am I going to say?
I think we should swing the pendulum.
Yeah.
I think we should go from we did camp, we had a classy run for a bit, then we did a campy. I think maybe The Living Skeleton do something that's kind of horror mystery, a little more intense
Yeah.
than Werewolf Orgy.
Yeah. I think so too. It is it is a Criterion feature, so you guys can check that out if you have a Criterion subscription. It's probably available elsewhere too, but yeah, let's do that. Let's swing back classy. Hopefully this is an incredible film. If Criterion is picking it, doesn't necessarily mean it is.
Yeah.
What is it? Showgirls, by the way, is on Criterion right now,
Right.
which is
Like
you know,
Criterion gets it. They
yeah.
get it.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's a great suggestion, Katie. Thank you. I hadn't heard of this film. I'm excited. So we're going to do Living Skeleton 1968. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Cecil, for talking with me. And if y'all have thoughts on Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, or ideas for other movies that would be good aquatic black and white horror films, let us know on Instagram at randomhorror9 or on our Patreon where we have public discussion threads for each episode, and you do not need to be a paying member to participate in those. So watch Living Skeleton 1968 with us this weekend. Come on back next Tuesday for a new episode. Have a restful night with no one exploding your eyeballs with wolf sorcery or nothing. Boo.